So, a pleasant morning to each and everyone, especially to you, Ma'am Riza Lawis. I am Christine Daniana Vinido, and I am the reporter for Chapter 13, the Corrido and Awit. So, first we discuss what is a corrido. So, a corrido is a famous narrative metrical tale in poetry that forms a ballad. It usually sang or spoken to music. So, ang corrido, man siya ang famous narrative metrical tale nga nagforms og ballad. When we say ballad, it is a poem or song that narrating a story in short stanza that usually sang or spoken to music. That is a corrido. Next, corrido is an octosyllabic verse were usually on legend stories from European countries like Spain, France, Italy, and Greece. So, ang corrido, nag-form ni siya or nag-compose ni siya og 8 syllables. That is an octosyllabic verse. And corrido refers to narration. Example of corrido is Ibong Adarna. And awit is an dodecasyllabic verse. When we say dodecasyllabic verse, it composed of 12 syllables. It refers to chanting. Examples of awit is Floranti at Laura. So, corrido and awit is stories of love in the form of poems of kings and queens, prince and princesses. So, ang corrido ug ang awit man siya ang mga stories of love that forms a poem that forms a form of poems that are nga naa ang kings and queens, prince og mga princesses. The terms awit and corrido are both related to music. So kining awit ug corrido is related din siya into music because awit is a Tagalog word for song, while the Spanish word corrido mean a metrical story. What is a metrical tale? So, a metrical tale is a type of poem which follows a narrative format. So, kining metrical tale mo na siya ang kanang naay-gi-follow nga mga narrative format. When we say metrical, it is relating to or composed in a poetic matter or it is involving a measurement that featuring characters, a plot, setting, and a theme. In Tagalog, both terms, which is corrido and awit, are known as buhay, meaning a personal history. So, kining corrido and awit, ang gitawag ni siya og buhay. Mo na siya silbi pen name sa corrido and awit, which is the buhay. The early known Tagalog writers of buhays are the following. So, mo ni ang mga writers sa buhay, or should I say the writers of the corrido and awit. First is Francisco Balagtas, Jose de la Cruz, Roman de los Angeles, that wrote Buhay ni Victoria as Ciudad ng Granada 1883, while Pascual Poblete wrote Buhay ni Juan Soldado 1899. The principal Tagalog buhay writers in our country after Balagtas and Cruz were Pedro Arañas, Simeon Arañas, Tevi Benaventura, Esteban Castillo, Feliciano Castillo, Simplesio Flores, Marcelo P. Garcia, Cleto H. Ignacio, Nemesio Magbuot, Florendo Rivera, Angel de los Reyes, Padre Joaquin Tuason, and Juanito Castillo. Over 250 names found in the pages of Buhay. So, 250 ang mga kanang pangan nga mga pangan sa buhays or sa Corrido and Awit. Some tales they deal with the famous bird locally known as the ibong adarna and the fabulous sky kalabasa. The most adventurous and daring heroes of these metrical tales were the prince, followed by the kings, then the dukes and dons, and finally by the brave palace captain. So kining ibong adarna, it is a mythical story form a narrative song and poetry called Corrido. So mo na siya ang example sa Corrido, which is ang ibong adarna. So when we say dukes, it is a male holding the highest hereditary. And when we say don, it is a Spanish titled prefix to a male or forename, like for example, Don Fernando. So muna siya ang dons. The following are some of the leading buhay personages. So, mo ni siya ang buhay personages. When we say personages, mo ni siya ang mga karakter sa buhay or mga karakter sa Corrido and Awit. The first is Bernardo Carpio, 12 Pares, 7 Infantes de Lara, Don Juan Tinioso, Don Juan Tenorio, Don Gonzalo de Cordova, Duque Almanzor, King Azuero, Príncipe Alfredo, King Adrian, Don Juan del Prado, Don Jose Flores, Príncipe Ludovico, Príncipe Orentes, Príncipe Rinaldo, Don Rodrigo de Vivar, Conde Serrano, Conde Urbano, Duque Crisauro, and many others. The female nobility and the commoners so frequently grace the pages of the Corridos and Awits. So, mo po ni siya ang mga female commoners nga naa sa Corridos and Awit. These are Doña Maria of Jerusalem, Queen Tenoga of Antioch, Princess Armolenda of Bohemia, Queen Cleotelde, Queen Elvira, Princess Aurea, Princess Pantinople, Doña Inés, Doña Beatriz, Princess Gloriana, Doña Rogeria of Barcelona, Princess Rogeria of Turkey, Princess Zaloma of Grenada, Princess Virginia of Turkey, Infanta Florsipida, Doña Maria of Asturias, Doña Maria of Murcia, Doña Blanca of Valencia, Doña Blanca of Valencia, Princess Esberta of Birbania, Doña Maria of Austria, Doña Maria of Alexandria, Doña Maria of Carthage, Queen Telestris of Temeseta, Princess Florcita of Bohemia, Doña Jimena of Spain, Princess Florencia of Ireland, Queen Ginevra and Princess Rosamunda, Princess Teofela of Armenia, and host of others. Most corridos and awits were written in the vernacular. Cinderella-like stories of Blanca Flor, the shepherdess of the Isles of Florisco, and of Prince Floreste, the maid-in-waiting, Arbella and Prince Armesto of Persia, and the love affair of Ardino and Gilomena, a shepherd and shepherdess. These tales of Europe naturally evoke immense interest among the Filipinos. So, muna siya ang mga examples sa tales. So, when we say tales, it is a story. Muna siya ang mga tales sa Europe nga maoy nakapa-evoke og kanang interest sa mga Pilipino. The same might be said of the stories of Aladdin, Alibaba, Prince Ahmed, and King Solomon, and also of Kalabasan, Ibong Adarna. Most known corridos and awits were written in the vernacular. Mao po na siya ang mga stories. According to Don Epifanio de los Santos, However, each Tagalog line has either 9 or 10 syllables, in which case the final one is accented. So when we say accented, it is spoken or characterized by a particular accent. With this invocation completed, the tale proper, if it is corrido, it's recited with martial beat. So, ang corrido is recited sa martial beat. And if it is an awit, it is sung slowly to the tone of the guitar or bandurria. So, when we say bandurria, it is the Spanish musical instrument of guitar family with 6 pairs of double strings. That is a bandurria. Some Filipino troubadours were, however, short-breathed singers, hence at times they shortened their stories. So, mao ni siya ang kanang mga Filipino troubadours nga kanang ilaharang gi-shorten ang ilahang mga stories. So when we say troubadours, it is a poet who write verse to music, or mo ni siya mga singer or songwriters. So thus, El Bernardo La Victoria di Roncesvalles in the hands of some Filipino vernacular troubadours became the famous history of Bernardo Carpio, the life and death of 12 peers of France, the courtiers of Charlemagne, until the treasury of Gamelon under that in Roncesvalles, the life of Don Juan Tenorio, and the son of King Arthos and Queen Blanca of the Kingdom of Valencia, the French chanson de Roland, appeared under the name of the unhappy life and deeds of the 7 infantes de Lara and their most humble father in the Kingdom of Spain. So, Francisco Balagtas, a Corrido and Awit writer. So, si Francisco Balagtas asa siya ka writer sa Corrido and Awit, succeeded in injecting into his narrative particularly Florante at Laura, anti-Spanish sentiments, partly to show his feeling and partly to take revenge on his enemies. So whatever literary value the Corrido and the Awit have can only regarded as developmental, a stage in the cultivation of the literary mind. The Buhay, however, still served the contemporary writers when he writes of the age of Calvary and accounts our people. Unprecedented love for heroic exploits, written in a poetic medium nearest your heart. Of the writers in the Philippines, the using Tagalog as medium utilized the Corrido and the Awit most background or direct materials. So that's all about. So that's all my report, and I hope everyone understand my report. So thank you for listening and good bless.